I love the story of inspiration by our next guest. He simply set out to write a story that he made copies of and gave to 15 friends. One of those friends encouraged him to make it into a book with a hardcover. And lo and behold, 18 million copies later, The Shack has become an international sensation. He's out with yet another new book. You've got to read it, Crossroads. Paul joins us now. Paul, I've got to ask, you said on Facebook that this book tour is surreal. Why did you say that?
You know, because it is so far beyond me. I mean, it is like, are you kidding me? I was talking to Kim, my wife, the other day, just yesterday, and going, do you think we'll ever get to the place where we're going, oh yeah, you know, just like this is normal? Because it's not. There's nothing about this that makes any, you know, rational, logical sense. God's sense of humor, you know. So the surreal piece is like all the time. A dozen times a day we're going, oh yeah, right, okay, whatever.
Well, Paul, it certainly is an impactful book. And I have to ask you, the word in this book seems to be about choices and the ripple effects. Why is that at the centerpiece of Crossroads?
Because I think it's at crossroads that we have to make choices. And a lot of times, I mean, real choices that change the direction of our lives and create ripples that ripple out into the lives of others. We do that anyway, even if we're just heading straight down the road on the straightaways. But the action doesn't usually happen at the straightaways. It usually happens at the crossroads. And I'm a huge believer in consequence. That is, part of God's respect for us as human beings is that we're allowed to experience the consequences of our choices. Even though we'd rather that God would step in and make our choices for us, I mean, it would make it so much easier. It's not like that. There's a huge amount of respect. And the smallest incremental choices ripple out, just like throwing a rock into a placid lake, you know, those things, and you don't know where those ripples go. You don't know how this piece here connects to this piece, connects to this piece that ends up in this person's life. And I think we have to be more attentive to those kinds of situations. Life was going to give us the crossroads anyway. Even if we don't ask for them, they're going to show up. This is the kind of world we live in. It would be easier if there weren't any other people involved, but as soon as you put another person in your life, you're going to end up with crossroads. You're going to end up with a confrontation about your ability to make choices, about your self-centeredness, my self-centeredness, and how those things clash. Choices at the middle of all of that.
You know, Paul, at the beginning of your introduction, I alluded to how you had penned a story for your friends. When did you know you wanted to become a writer?
Well, I had to live a long time before I was, you know, to the place where I could write them. Some of us don't start at zero. You know, we start at minus 400 tons or something, you know, and we have to work a long time to get to zero. And, you know, I've always been a writer, like anybody. You write stuff that you give to your friends, or you write things to get the pain from the inside out. And a lot of my writing early on in my life was like that. And then you get an opportunity to write a gift for someone. And that's what I was doing, just gifts for friends and family. And the beauty of that is, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to still love you because they're your friends and your family.
If anyone's facing a decision at their crossroads, what would you say to them today?
Now, let me tell you, you can't do it by yourself. We weren't designed to be independent and isolated. And the process, as difficult of exposure as it is where redemption lies. You cannot come to healing in hiding and by yourself. This involves a community, and as ragged a process as that is, it is worth every bit of pain. I would never want to go through it again, the kinds of ways that I did, but I am grateful for every piece and every part of the arduous nature of that healing transformational process. And so my heart goes out for us stumblers who were not able to look for help until we got caught. That's grace.
I personally love that word as well, grace. And given your tremendous success now with your second best-selling book, what advice would you give to anyone out there pursuing their dreams?
Well, one thing is, don't wrap your identity up in what you do. You are already significant. You already matter. You're already caught inside the affection of a God who loves you with a relentless love you can't change. So don't confuse what you do for who you are. And that was one of the big traps I was in for 50 years of my life. I thought my significance came from what I did, rather than who I am. And you know, and you do what you do for people that you care about, and then you trust. You just trust, and you learn to live inside the grace of one day.
Paul, certainly great words of wisdom, fantastic book, Crossroads. Congratulations and continued success.
Thank you, Conn. Thank you for being part of the adventure. I'm grateful for your presence.